Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
The jury filed silently into the courtroom. The judge made his entrance a moment later, and a hiss of expectation raged through the packed room.
No, I wouldn't. And that's reminded me of Grisham.
It's not Grisham.
No, but I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't.
That's enough, is it?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Just read it again. The rate.
The jury filed silently into the courtroom. The judge made his entrance a moment later, and a hiss of expectation raged through the packed room.
It's the hiss of expectation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I just wouldn't. That made me say no.
Yeah, I don't like that much either.
No.
Like the hiss and the rage seem to be working against each other.
Yeah, I do really. Yeah.
And I just think raged is the wrong word.
It's just such an obvious word to use, isn't it? It does make me sort of wince a little bit. It's like words like fury and anger, rage. They're just so obvious words to use. And I think if you're writing something, you need to kind of not just immediately reach for a synonym, but kind of explore a different way to suggest there is rage or whatever it is you're trying to do. Because it's just such an obvious word.
Shall I give you a bit more? Lucky Sant'Angelo stood tensely in the dock. She stared straight ahead, impassive, wildly, darkly beautiful, in spite of everything.
Oh, it's terrible, isn't it? That is a shocker, isn't it?
What's terrible about it?
Just the descriptions of the character. It's like it's cardboard cutout. Standing tensely, yet she's completely beautiful, and even in the situation, it's trash. I would expect more from a writer, particularly to describe somebody.
Mildly darkly beautiful, I don't really mind. In fact, I think there might be a deliberate, I'm not giving you any more than that, so that you can draw your own.
It's very risky though, isn't it? I mean, I know you don't need to labour a description of somebody who's pretty or whatever, but to say wildly, darkly beautiful, it's just like, what are you talking about?
Do you know what? I don't. Actually, I'm coming around to your way of thinking about it. I think that one of those would be okay. Darkly beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, wildly beautiful because it's a bit of an oxymoron. You might think, oh, that's sort of interesting, but even still, I mean, wildly beautiful. I mean, I don't know. Beautiful is an empty word as well.
I'm okay with that as long as it's one of those, not both of those.
Right.
Wildly beautiful, darkly beautiful. I'm perfectly happy with that.
Yeah.
That wouldn't bother me in the slightest. But when it's both of them, it reads a little bit like somebody that's not a writer but's trying to write.
Yeah.
That sounds really weird. Sort of snobby, perhaps. Do you want a little bit more?
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
The judge took his place, adjusted his heavy horn-rimmed glasses, and cleared his throat. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached your verdict? He asked tersely. At that point, I'm definitely out. Because horn-rimmed glasses is such a cliche. Clearing his throat, and don't need that either, that's awful. And just get on with it. The judge took his place. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached your verdict? That's enough.
Yeah,
you don't need any more than that.
Yeah.
The rest of it is just wasting my time. Especially, he asked tersely at the end. It makes it awkward.
Oh, that's terrible, mate. These adverbs are awful. There's loads in that first page or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Go on. Give us another line. You see, I only want to read more because I want to read how bad it is. That's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah, the foreman of the jury stepped forward. He was a sallow-faced man with a facial tic. Yes, Your Honour, he said indistinctly, causing the judge to bark an irritable, "Speak up."
Oh,
See, I'm not regretting my decision to say no.
No, that's right, yeah.
Because he said indistinctly, why has everything got to be...
something, yeah.
Something. He said, yes, Your Honour.
Yeah.
He could just say, the judge took his place, asked for a verdict, and the foreman gave it to him. You could just report the dialogue. You don't have to give the dialogue, especially if your dialogue is kind of like this, which is, do you know what I mean? It's like you haven't gone into a court. You haven't researched a court. You've watched Perry Mason a couple of times and thought, I can do this.
I can do this. Yeah, I'll have a crack. Yeah. Oh, it's a shocker, mate. It's brilliant. It amazes me. It's published. I mean, who the hell publishes it? I don't know.
This foreman, why are you giving him this tick?
I know.
Why do I need them to know? He's a sallow-faced man with a facial tick. I mean, even putting that aside, I just don't like any of it.
I think they've been on the basic writing course and they've been taught that when you describe a character, give them something a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got the horn rim glasses, we've got the tick.
But when I read Carrie, there's a couple of characters in there where it sort of will introduce the character and then tell you a little bit about their background, and then it will tell you like a little bit about how that manifests itself in their personality. Like, I'm thinking of the teacher who got her period at 12 and said to her mum, I'm on the rag, and it's just like, okay, this is a very blunt woman from a very blunt speak your mind sort of household. So it gives you a little bit of how they got that way and why they're like that. And in terms of King, even in Carrie, the fact that he did that for so many of his characters, it starts to become a thing and it starts to break you out of the story. But what you're getting here is only half the story. Lucky Santangelo is tensely in the dock. She's got this name. Where did she get it from? I don't know anything about her.
And how is it relevant at this moment?
The foreman's got this tick. Why? I don't know anything about him. If you said the foreman stood and remembered as a child stumbling over the speech that he gave at prom and his nerves rushing back to him made him stutter, you're doing the Stephen King thing.
But if you did that, you'd want him to be a bit more of a player, maybe.
But then, he needs to be a little bit more of a character. Otherwise, I think it's called a narrative report of speech. Just say the foreman said that he did.
That's right.
The
reported speech.
You don't even have to do it for the judge if the judge is not going to be a character. Why is he terse? Why is he snappy? We don't know. Is it just part of his... If they're not characters that go anywhere in this book, then you don't need this.
No, that's
Move your story along.
You're going to do some more. Go on. Just give us a little bit more. Just give us a little bit.
Okay.
Just a tiny bit more.
Well, he says, barked and irritable, speak up. Yes, we have, Your Honour, the foreman repeated, his nervous tick becoming distractingly obvious. Again, distractingly obvious. We're just like, it's got to be something. Just, no.
Well, it's a bit of a tautology as well, isn't it? It's just like, you don't need to say both of those things. Anyway,
Then pass your verdict to the court clerk, if you please, snapped the old judge waspishly.
This is brilliant.
The foreman did as he was bade. The clerk accepted the folded verdict form and took it directly to the judge, who peered at it intently. An expectant hush hung over the crowded courtroom, a silence so heavy that to Lucky it seemed more like an accusing roar. She did not look at the judge, but she saw him and read the paper. She saw him read the paper, saw him pass it back to the court clerk, and she closed her black opal eyes for one brief second of silent prayer. She, Lucky Santangelo, was accused of murder, and the next few minutes would decide her fate. She tried to breathe evenly and deeply, tried to maintain calm, to concentrate, to think only positive thoughts. The clerk began to talk. Oh God, this couldn't happen to her, not to Lucky Santangelo. Then in capitals, not to her. She held her head high. She was a true Santangelo. Nothing could get her down. Nothing. After all, she was innocent, wasn't she? Wasn't she? Ellipsis.
What is that? Who wrote this?
This is
Go on.
Jackie Collins.
Oh my
Lucky.
God.
Now, I would assume that, that Jackie Collins would get a lot of comparisons with Martina Cole, but I've read Martina Cole, and it didn't annoy me like that did.
That is awful. I mean, that is just like, I've got a novel to do in like 6 weeks, I'm just going to bang this out.
See, have a listen to what it says in like when the critics
go on,
are promoting it, saying that it's good and you need to check it out. Say, if you take Lucky to the beach for sunbathing company, you may still be lying there reading when the moon comes up. And that's from people at Cosmopolitan.
Idiots.
That first page was
that's awful.
Absolutely dire.
Yeah. And who's published it? So, I thought it was Faber and Faber for a minute. I was going to say. Oh, look at the cover there. That's brilliant, isn't it?
That absolutely just needs to be moved along. If you really want to set up a mystery, right, you could start that.
Guilty.
She tried to breathe evenly and deeply. Try to remain calm, to concentrate, to think only positive thoughts.
Yeah.
Then you go back a little bit. The next few minutes would decide her fate.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? That's about the last 3 lines. I'm not going to include the court clerk began to speak.
Yeah.
Well, no, perhaps you could. The court clerk began to speak, even though it's a little bit of a tongue twister.
Yeah.
And then go... well, not all of that's awful, the second part of it. But you say, the court clerk began to speak, but something like, but it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Because she knew she was innocent. Didn't she, if you want to go that way?
If you wanted to do that, yeah.
And you've reduced...
Wasn't she in capitals as well, or did they not go that far?
Wasn't she question mark, and then wasn't she dot,
right.
That's brilliant. All the rest of that is just... It doesn't give you anything. And even like the mystery is like, well, why is she called Lucky? You know,
yeah.
If you're like, oh, that's like a mystery, get rid of that. Just use pronouns. Then you literally don't know who she is at all. And then your mystery is, who's this girl? Why is this happening?
Particularly
What's
if it is
going
the
on?
prologue, then you could probably get away with that.
Oh my God!
Yeah. It's a big book, isn't it, as well?
Yeah. Chapter 1. Lenny Golden had not set foot in Vegas for 13 years, even though it was the city of his conception, birth, and first 17 years of his life. I'm trying to think, I think the lead male character in that Martina Cole novel that I read was actually called Lenny as well.
Oh, really?
There's something about Lenny's.
Lenny's, of Mice and Men.
Perhaps because it rhymes with like Reggie to a little bit, and they're trying to get that sort of organised crime.
Yeah, Ronnie, Reggie, Lenny.
Yeah. So perhaps there's
Lenny
a Lenny,
Lucky.
there's a Lenny and a Lonnie or something.
That's a beaut. That is. That's got to be the number one out of 1 out of 10. Definitely. That's a shocker. That is.
It's almost so bad.
Probably made a fortune out of
that. You want to read more.
It is for the just mildly entertaining and like we're doing.
How bad can one book get? How repetitive can one book get?
How many mistakes could this author make?
Oh, that is...
Could just do it on the prologue, couldn't you, really?
The airport was doing a roaring trade in visiting gamblers, tourists and middle America out to have fun. Fat male butts waddled alongside peroxide plump ladies in polyester pantsuits and fake jewellery. Small children whined and complained. Travelling hookers in halter-tops, hot pants, tightly outlining their crotches, arrived to do business. Swarthy foreigners clutched black leather attaché cases and breathed garlic over accompanying yellow-haired mistresses.
Oh, that's brilliant. What was one of the really famous books she did? Riders and... Was that her?
Oh, yeah, but wasn't there one called Slut or something like that?
Don't know. Was it Riders and Lovers or something?
Yeah, I think that was quite a famous one. But well, yeah, I think there was Slut, and I think that they made a movie of it with the other Collins, Joan Collins. I think I'm right. Maybe I should get Slut, because with a title like that, you can't go wrong.
Yeah, Slut stood tensely in the dock. Irritating the hell
perhaps
out of everybody
it's
else.
just a nickname. Slutty is her nickname, and Slut is her name. Yeah. Slutty sluts, tensely in the dock, wildly beautiful and
wildly beautiful, yeah.
Wildly, mildly beautiful.
Yeah. Oh, you could go off on this, couldn't you? I mean, Jesus, that's terrible. That is
wildly, mildly, calmly, hairily beautiful.
We've had most of the adverbs in the English language in there, haven't we? So.
Oh my God, that was bad.
That's terrible. That is.
I'm going to read that.
I think you should review.
Yeah, there's going to be a review coming soon of Jackie Collins.
How long is it? Let me just see. Sorry, how many pages?
It's got to be 500, isn't it?
That is a beast.
Oh, it's 600 and more.
Honestly. Yeah, it's over 630 pages.
Oh my word.
And the writing is quite dense writing too.
Oh my word.
Fucking
that's a commitment of about 3 weeks.
Zombie, it says. Yeah, that's quite a bit of a...
Let's have a look in the back, because it might say, also by Jackie Collins, Hollywood Wives.
I mean, she was known, wasn't she, for that sort
chances. Yeah, sleaze and...
sort of style or whatever,
But interestingly enough, that didn't come across with the sleaze. Do you know, I'm expecting more sleaze from Jackie Collins. So here's what it was called. It wasn't the slut, it was the stud. So
same difference.
Yeah, here's some of her other books.
Yeah, go on.
The World is Full of Married Men. Sinners,
Yeah.
The Stud, Lovehead. I mean, that just...
These are just like names for films, aren't they?
The World is Full of Divorced Women, Lovers and Gamblers, The Bitch, Chances, and Hollywood Wives. Was it The Bitch was the one with Joan Collins?
Oh, was it?
I think so. Or did she do both?
That is terrible.
So what was your score out of 10 for Jackie
1
Collins?
for that. That is the one.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'm going with that is actually better than what was the other one? The Succubus Blues. I think
that was brilliant as well. Yeah.
So I think I gave that like a 2 or 3.
Yeah.
And I'm going to give that the same because we're not doing decimals or fractions.
Yeah,
but marginally better.
I'm only giving that 1 because we have to.